What's going on, guys? It's your boy H-Dog back here with another video. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to stay updated on the latest gaming news and live streams that I do. But with that out the way, let's go ahead and get into it. Apparently, there's this Warner Brother patent that got approved by them about them patenting the Nemesis system. Now, this kind of been gaining traction, and when I first seen it, I didn't really look too much into it. But now that I know a bit more about it, I think I got a good idea what's going on. They patented their Nemesis system, which is widely beloved in their games, Shadow of Mordor and even Shadow of War, which wasn't as good, mainly because they tied the Nemesis system to loot boxes back in 2017, which garnered a lot of media attention and outrage. They patented this basically so no one else won't do it. Now, we've seen other people try to do it, even Ubisoft to a degree with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They try to have their version of a Nemesis system with the mercenaries they had in that game, but it fell flat. But they did try it to the least. Now, I could see both sides to this. I can see the side where people can be upset and people cannot be so upset. Now, with them patenting this kind of send a message to other developers: be original, make your own shit. But that's it. That's probably the only thing I could, only good thing I could see about this, because to some degree you could have a situation where you could have too much of the same thing, a la open world games. But there's a lot more bad to this than good. Primarily when it comes to the other things that this could fall into. This could start a slippery slope in terms of what if Ubisoft wants to patent open world games? What if Capcom wants to patent Devil May Cry style gameplay? Or if Bayonetta wanted to patent theirs? But then again, those two combat styles are a bit, similar, even though Bayonetta is a lot more faster paced. But I digress. What if it could, end up becoming those things where you could give publishers who are not really favored right now, leeway into them patenting games that they've made, where no one else would try to make their version of that. What if Capcom tried to patent Devil May Cry or Resident Evil, just to name a few off the top of my head? And the thing is, if they did that, you wouldn't have other horror style games that would be in the same vein as Resident Evil. Same could be said for Devil May Cry style gameplay. We've seen plenty of games that was inspired by Devil May Cry. Bayonetta was inspired by Devil May Cry. Dante's Inferno, the game that came out by Visceral, was inspired by Devil May Cry. Ninja Theory made their own version of Devil May Cry with a reboot. You see the point I'm getting. If there's only one person making a certain style of games, then it could be an issue. Now, if this is an entire game mechanic, which has people worried. It kind of even ties into, what if there was only one person making open world games and no one else was allowed to make open world games? There would be a lot of open world games that wouldn't exist today. Skyrim is one of the best ones that people regard. Most recently, Cyberpunk, and yes, I know that game gets a lot of hate, but still, Far Cry. Now, the very first open world video game was way back in the 90s. Imagine if that company decided back then, hey, we want to patent this. We want to be the only ones making this style of game. You wouldn't have great games, like I said, that exist today. You wouldn't have Assassin's Creed games. You wouldn't have Far Cry games. And if we want to go into that, let's just say Ubisoft wanted to make a patent for Far Cry style games. Now, we've seen Far Cry style games in terms of you take out the outpost, you beat the game, vice versa. Sniper Ghost Warrior 3 and Homefront: The Revolution. But both of those were trash. You know, both of them games were trash. Both of them games was trash. So it's like, you know, whatever. And just because they made a couple of futile efforts, don't mean that the next person can't possibly make a better Far Cry game or a better Assassin's Creed game than Ubisoft, which has also been done. Like, people compare, you know, Ghost of Tsushima to Assassin's Creed in terms of the stealth, and people say, hey, why would you want to play Assassin's Creed in Japan? Play Ghost of Tsushima. A lot of people say that. Ghost of Tsushima, to a degree, would not exist if there was, like, patents by Ubisoft. Hey, you can't make certain stealth style gameplay or have, like, Far Cry style gameplay. Then a lot of other games wouldn't exist. Like, Ghost of Tsushima is probably the only one that did it the best in terms of, like, taking out outposts and shit like that recently, in the way that they did it. Even a game like Horizon Zero Dawn wouldn't exist in terms of, like, the open worldness of that game. Spider-Man, to a degree, like I said, Ghost of Tsushima would not exist if a patent existed for those type of games. Now, like I said, this could just be me spitballing, but it's a slippery slope. If I can think of, like, one of the top hated developers right now, it would be Konami. What if Konami came out with a patent saying you can't make Metal Gear style stealth games, or we're the only ones that can make Metal Gear, or we're the only ones that could make these particular type of stealth games? Then you would have a lot of games that wouldn't exist. Splinter Cell wouldn't exist. Like, and yeah, it's just like I said. I would even say, like, all right, what if, like, IO said, you know what, we want to be the only ones that make a Hitman style game? Then no one else would be able to have that chance of making that. But you see what I'm getting at. This could be a slippery slope, and it's something that's not good if it's left unchecked. Now, by whatever means, I'm not going to sit here and tell people boycott Warner Brother games because they had a patent. I'm not going to tell you that, because it's like I said in the previous video where I said that boycotts don't work as good as outrage. If you want Warner Brothers to know, hey, this ain't a good thing, let your voice be heard. Like, get to them. Find a way to get to them and say, and rattle their cages to the point they'll listen. Because it's like I said in that video, you rattle a corporation's cage long enough, they will eventually listen. You don't necessarily have to speak their language, which is money. You can just shake the hell out of their cage till they come see what's the fucking problem. Okay, that's what you do. Okay, if people are really outraged about this, shake their fucking cage. Don't boycott nothing, because boycotts historically, like I said, has never worked. With that being said, let me know what your thoughts is on this. What do you think about Warner Brother Games patenting the Nemesis system? Do you think it's not as bad as people make it seem? Or can you see that this could be a slippery slope for the games industry? Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you think. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, like I said in the beginning, subscribe to stay updated on the latest gaming news and live streams. Till then, it's been your boy H-Dog. Peace.